begin your journey, and it will set you free.
Your fight for survival starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Sucker Punch, an exclusive look. I, of course, am Blair Herter.
And I'm Kristen Adams. Today we're taking an inside peek at the latest Zack Snyder film, Sucker Punch. Now, when you think of Zack Snyder, you probably picture the beefy, shirtless men with washboard abs of 300, right?
So, but this time, Snyder's actually going to give us something a little different. My personal favorite, a lineup of leading ladies, hot ones at that.
Okay, but Blair, it also has stunning visual effects, a heart-wrenching story, and a mashup of musical genres to create a sweeping score that sucks you into a fantasy world unlike anything you've ever seen before.
Oh, you're right. Like, it's got like a lot of really hot chicks. Let's get the show started.
Sucker Punch follows a young woman whose evil stepfather sends her to a Vermont insane asylum. Within the moldy walls of the loony bin, she slips into the fortress of her imagination and envisions herself as Baby Doll, an alter ego capable of hypnotizing men with her sex appeal and splitting bullets with a katana. Our mini-skirted samurai teams up with fellow patients Sweet Pea, Rocket, Blondie, and Amber, all of whom, like Baby Doll, are looking to fly the cuckoo's nest.
I'm going to escape from here, but I'm going to be free. Baby Doll hatches a plan to escape from this insane asylum. She has absolutely nothing to lose. She's lost her family, and so she's sort of willing to stop at nothing to get to freedom.
So, the first thing we need is a map to figure out where all the exits are. Second thing we need is something to start a fire with, as a distraction for when we escape. And the third thing is a knife, in case we run into any trouble. We can do it. Okay? And the last thing's a key. Blue wears a key around his neck. What door does it open?
It's for all of them, I think.
She bands together with these other girls and sort of fights for her own freedom with them.
I'm in. So am I. Me too. All right.
The story is linear, but it operates on 3 different levels. Reality is sub-reality in a dream world.
In this crazy world in her imagination with these dragons and zombies represent, I think, the demons in her real life.
The story drifts in and out of those 3 worlds.
What you're imagining right now, you control this world.
Using a blend of sci-fi, steampunk, and anime, Zack Snyder creates Baby Doll's fantasy world to illustrate her very real plight.
Talking about where the idea came from, how you developed it.
The idea has been knocking around for kind of a long time in my head. I guess I had written this sort of short story where this girl was sort of forced to dance, and in that scenario, she goes into this fantasy world, and that's the way she escapes sort of reality of what she's being forced to do. And I think that was really sort of the germ of the idea. Steve Shibuya, who wrote the script with me, he and I would meet and have coffee and talk about that. And then one day we were like, oh, we should just write this down.
I met Zack in film school, and I guess that was 25 years ago. We did a Super 8 film together. It kind of was like one of the sequences in Sucker Punch.
I was like, I want to do a World War I movie.
Zack actually got a backhoe and dug up the backyard of the apartment he was renting.
I dug this big trench.
He used a garden hose to make rain.
I had a smoke machine.
Kind of foreshadows some of the stuff that's going to be in Sucker Punch.
It's such a wonderfully bizarre mix of all sorts of pop culture things, and you know, it's like this live-action anime as well as Moulin Rouge with all that jazz with One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I mean, it's just like such a, it's really imagination
all
unleashed.
through the lens of Zack Snyder.
Right, exactly. Mix some crazy in there with it. And then,
The world of Sucker Punch is a stylized world. But inside of that world, there's no letting on to that stylization. It's an incredibly bizarre world, but the drama, the relationships are completely played as real, and I think that's the kind of fun of the movie.
break down the 5 characters for me. The asylum mates.
Yeah, the asylum mates. Well, you have first was Baby Doll, who's Emily's character who comes into this world.
I have a Browning, Colt 45, which I had to shoot left-handed. I had to learn to shoot left-handed because I have my amazing handmade samurai sword in my right hand. In the trenches, I have probably the most fun weapon for me to use, which was the Lewis gun. And it's so huge that it had to be rigged on wires for me to be able to hold it, because it's massive and it's so insanely heavy, and when you shoot it, your face just gets like sprayed with gunpowder, and it's so satisfying. I had to shoot down a Zeppelin.
And then Sweepy's kind of the leader of the girls.
Sweepy had a shotgun, an M4, and a broadsword. And my shotgun bullets on my thigh, top of my thigh-high boots, and, you know, mags attached to my boots too, and as you do.
Yeah, of course.
Sweepy on one hand is this kind of tough character, and when Baby comes in, she's kind of innocent and kind of sensitive. And they kind of, through the course of the movie, they kind of switch roles in a weird way. Sweepy has a sister named Rocket.
How some people handle a situation in the film through showing their strength, and Rocket can kind of ease through it without having to project anything.
Jamie plays Amber. Amber's she's like the pilot in the adventures, and she's super accepting. She wants to love.
Amber's the kind of girl that wants to please everyone. She just wants to fit in. She just wants to be accepted and to be an equal.
Vanessa plays Blondie. Blondie kind of has a tough exterior, but then you realize that she's vulnerable and that there's maybe a crack in there somewhere.
She's kind of this sweet, kind of has her blonde moments every now and then we jump over to the action world, and she's this total badass. Hey, Matt, you ugly mother!
People ask me, like, oh, is it like, what did you have to do differently than you do because they were girls? And I was like, I didn't have to do anything different. They did everything that I asked of them and more, and so.
Well, you open doors for them. I mean, that's different, right? Like, you treat them.
Oh yeah, you treat them like a lady on one hand, of course, but then they're kicking ass on the other side.
I, for one, would be happy to let any one of those girls take out their inner rage on me because I am a good person.
You're so thoughtful, Blair. I was thinking of others. 82 alive.
Yummy. Call me, ladies. Really, totally into it.
Stick around. When we come back, I'll see for myself just how tough it is to get in shooting shape for a Zack Snyder movie. That's right, I'm going through Sucker Punch boot camp.
Yeah, and then while Kristen licks her wounds, and thank you for that, by the way, I know it's very difficult, we're going to get into the jaw-dropping Sucker Punch effects. Stay with us.
Hey, that moves.
Karate.
That's good.